And good Wednesday morning from the CNET New York podcast studio. It is May 17th, and we are ready to kick off episode 229 of the 359 podcast. My name is BVG, and in the house today I've got Alfred and Joan Solsman. And sorry we're a little late today because we're getting ready for
Google I.O. Have you heard of it? Is this like small startup?
So seriously, like, people don't really need to know what Google I.O. is. Normal humans don't. Google, yes. I.O. is for the true, passionate followers, which are our readers and watchers. So
yeah, so they'll be probably talking a lot more about Android O today, which I found out is not the same thing as Robot O. So I've just learned about that. And we'll also be talking more about the Wannacry ransomware because it's still one of the worst ransomware attacks in the world. And the hacker group that basically released the NSA tools that helped fuel the spread of Wannacry resurfaced after missing for about 9 months. So we'll be talking about both of that on the podcast today.
So stick around and we'll be back to join you in the chat in 3 minutes and 59 seconds from 3, 2.
Welcome to the 359. I'm Alfred.
I'm Joan Solsman.
Google's I.O. conference kicks off today at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which we've got full coverage of that you can check out on CNET.com. You can expect a lot more details about the next update to Android, which they've called Android O. Hopefully that's for Oreo. They're also going to be revealing what they're bringing to the table of Google Home, virtual reality, and all the other millions of things that Android is on. So, Joan, knowing what we know about Google and Android O, what's on your wish list for Google I.O.?
Well, I definitely want to. I mean, everyone wants to know what candy O is going to be. But I think a lot of people are interested in Google Home and Google Assistant, how that's going to. Right now, we're in a world where the Echo and Alexa are the assistant in the home that's on everybody's tip of everyone's tongue. Like, Google Home hasn't really been able to penetrate and take over where Echo is just kind of like rocketed into popularity. So it'll be interesting to see what they can offer that will be able to supplant.
I mean, what updates do you think that they'll need for Google Home or like the Google Assistant to effectively compete with Amazon's Echo like lineup? They have like 7 of them now.
Right.
Yeah, and there's one Google Home.
I think, well, part of the problem is that Amazon benefited from the store, like the ecosystem that it has. Google has a giant ecosystem, but it's just so fragmented in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean you don't use 5 chat apps?
Search is a really important thing, but it's not a thing you want to do with your speaker. And that's the thing that that Google is best at.
So do you think that they need to add other features like besides search, kind of like calling, like what Amazon did a few?
I don't think it's about volume of features. I think it's about figuring out what it can do better than Amazon can. Giving people one reason why they're like, I can't do that on my Echo.
Yeah, I remember they had a cool feature where it was like kind of like voice recognition, so it would know your voice profile based on that. I mean, I thought that was something that would like take on the Echo like really proficiently, just because like based off of like calendars, you can only have one right now on Amazon Echo, whereas on Google, if it recognizes your voice, it'll tell you like what your events are versus like what maybe like your kids' events are that day.
Yeah, and with music too, if you want to listen to music that's tailored to you, then when your husband or child ask for listening to music that's tailored to them, it shouldn't be the stuff that's for the dad.
Yeah, I know my girlfriend hates it when I'm on her Spotify on the Echo because
it screws up her Discover Weekly.
Screws it up. So yesterday, the hacker group, the Shadow Brokers, resurfaced for the first time in months after the Wannacry ransomware outbreak. So in April, they released an NSA exploit that allowed the ransomware to spread as fast as it did, and in their resurgence warned that there would be more leaks in a data dump of the month club starting in June. So it'd be based off a subscription model, and they compared it to like, this is like a wine of the month club.
I think of it as like the Netflix of ransomware.
Well, no, because you can't just keep going back on it. And they've also mentioned in the past that they don't care what people do with their leaks. So even if it was like just me that subscribed to it and I got all the data dumps, it would most likely go public because people would just publish it online or on these like databases where people can get access to it. They've said that, they have more exploits coming for Windows devices, routers, and browsers. They've also said that they have exploits for Windows 10 devices. If you notice, the Wannacry virus spread basically off of old, outdated machines. But this one, they're saying they have exploits for the latest Windows device. So they're going to be releasing more details on that. But security experts that I've spoken to have said it's doubtful that they have Windows 10 exploits, considering that all their stuff that they stole from the NSA was like a few months ago. Not a few months ago, like from like a few years ago.
What it means is for, consumers is that you're more exposed.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, even if you were protected by not having the most ancient possible Windows version out there, this means that you're more exposed.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you like these stories, be sure to check us out on CNET.com. I'm Alfred.
I'm Joan Solsman.
All right, Joan, you got me thinking when you were talking earlier about the Echo, but the Echo ecosystem.
Yeah.
Matthew, the ecosystem,
Yeah.
if you just have bad pronunciation.
Right.
Matthew
Well,
in the
no, it's a
chat
pun.
says, yeah, all right, fine. Matthew in the chat saying he's had a less than favorable experience with his Google Home for a myriad of reasons, from the actual voice recognition, literally like the pitch of voice it struggles with sometimes. Do you think this is going to be a hot ticket at I.O. this year?
Google Home generally?
Yeah.
It was a centerpiece last year. And because I think these companies, Google and Amazon in particular, have talked about how voice is the next computing platform. Like we've been through this period where mobile is the thing that's dominated the transformation of our cultures and of how we communicate and how we understand the world and blah, 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 blah. Their argument is that voice and artificial intelligence is what's going to be driving the next phase. That's going to be the next major computing platform. And so Home is a big part of that for them. Google Assistant's a big part of that for them. So I imagine it's going to be a centerpiece this year too. Can't
imagine how it couldn't be. I mean, it's what everybody's talking about, even though Amazon's got kind of leaps and bounds ahead of everybody at this point. That's setting a new standard.
Yeah.
It's how smart can you make your home?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I think that the reason that it's appealing to most people, Echo in that sense, is because it's not how smart can you make your home, it's how easy it is to use for like very specific things. Like everybody uses Echo for music, timers, and weather, and maybe traffic. Like it's 4 things that it does really well. And I'm sure Google Home can do those. Maybe it can't. I actually haven't used Google Home. I don't know if you guys have tried it out.
I had trouble using it when
I
had a test one. It was like really frustrating setting it up with our Wi-Fi. But to be fair, like our Wi-Fi is a little different than most conventional Wi-Fis are.
It might not have been Home's fault.
So I don't blame the Google Home for that, but I will say it was frustrating. I will say about the Echo Dot though, or just like Amazon's Echo in general, I don't know like how widespread the adoption like really is. But, like I'm like the only person in my friend group that has it, and the only reason why I got it is because it's like only $50, and I work in this field, whereas like I kind of should know like how these work and like why why people are talking about them so much. Like I've suggested them to my friends because I really like it, and they're just like, I don't know why I need this. That's kind of the thing where it is probably going to be the future at some point. I think people probably had the same mentality when it came to like the first iPhone or like the first smartphone. Was like, why would I need my phone to go online? Like,
no, I think that was the mentality with mobile phones. Maybe not with iPhone because Apple is such a follower. Like, what do they call it? Fast follower. Where they take something that's already become like a thing that's got traction and make it perfect.
Give the old Apple spit shine.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember, when mobile phones were becoming popular, a lot of people were like, why the hell do you need to reach me all the time?
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like,
I still say that to people. So
yeah.
Josh in the chat thinks that Google needs to add an Echo Dot type home feature.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like if they made one that was like $50, I guarantee you like that gap in between like Google and like Amazon on this would like close like so quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the problem is they're not in enough homes. And
they gotta up the competition.
Yeah, and the thing is, like at that price, like you can't justify to somebody like why they need this for their home unless they're like already got money to blow. Otherwise, it's just like that's again, like I said, that's the only reason why I bought the Echo Dot. Like it was like $50. I'm like,
I mean, that speaks to one of Google's previous like home run hits from an I/O, which was when they first unveiled Chromecast. You get it for $35, and you get a year of Netflix free. I think, or was it 3 months of Netflix free? You basically they were basically giving them away for free, and those things became ubiquitous.
Yeah, you look
like in 6 months.
You look at all the Google things that have like caught on from like I/O that like are complete hits, and then you look at the price tags on them, and like that's obviously like a huge factor on it. Like even like Google Cardboard, which was like free in some cases and like $5 if you like really wanted one. And like,
Yeah.
I see them like everywhere. They're like given out at like 7-Eleven and stuff. But yeah, Chromecast too. That's like my go-to like birthday present too. Where it's
Yeah.
like it's $35, but like it's like so helpful for people.
Right. There's nothing like pejorative about having a product that's priced
Mhm.
cheaply if it's not a bad product. Like Apple's special and Samsung is special with their phones because people have already realized
Mhm.
that it's worth paying hundreds of dollars. To them, it's worth not paying $100 for the latest
Yeah.
and greatest.
You know what I realized might be
Galaxy
kind
or
of cool
whatever.
for like if Google did want to come out with their version of like an Echo Dot.
Mhm.
So you know the Chromecast like audio where you can just plug it into a speaker and it turns it into like a Bluetooth speaker.
Right.
If they're able to make something like that, but like also make it like a smart speaker,
Mm-hmm.
that would be like
Yeah.
really useful.
It would be really
I
useful.
mean, I enjoy the Google Play experience, that
Mhm.
ecosystem. I subscribe to it. I use it. I've used it for years to like
yeah.
cloud back up my massive library.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to take my entire to go on a thumb drive, right?
Yeah.
More or less. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of how they.
Because that's the thing. Like like you said, like the Google ecosystem's like perfectly fit for something like that. Where it's like if you have YouTube Red or if you have like YouTube TV, I would not be able to do that from like my Echo to my Chromecast because they don't like to play nice with each other.
Yeah.
But if Google had something that was like around the same price point, and then I already have my Chromecast and I already have my Android phone and all these things, like they would all work together so well. And then as opposed to like, oh, you can't do that because Amazon doesn't like YouTube. Like that kind of, it's just frustrating.
It sounds like David in the chat wants Google to go ahead and skip an Amazon step and go right to the Echo Show and put a touchscreen on this thing.
No.
It's a thought. I'm just.
You
I'm
already
just
know how I
commenting.
feel about this, but I'm just gonna say it again. Where like I still think that's like one of the weirdest or like dumbest decisions on Amazon's, and it's a smart landline. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but their phone was pretty bad too. I mean,
Yes, which
So when
further
they-
it's
adds
not one
to
of
my
the.
point. that
It's not
this
one
is
of the worst
dumb.
because they've had so many bad.
Yeah.
But I think part of the reason is that it's.
Look,
just
if you have
ugly.
$230 to blow, then go ahead. Sure, like you can like video chat with your friends. But you know what else you can video chat with your friends on?
Yeah.
A laptop, a phone. That's I think
true.
that's
Another failure was the Google Glasses.
yes.
However, Gerald, I apologize. Gerald in the chat is asking. He wants the Google Glasses back. What do we think about that?
And
And
like
the
while we're,
same-
at, while
and
we're
like-
at it, calling out to everybody else, what's your wish list for this year? We're just kind of burning time because the stream's about to kick off, and then we're going to send it over to our team in San Francisco, and they're going to lead the charge on that. So we appreciate you being here with us as we all kind of collectively speculate.
Wait, what does he want Google Glass in like the same form factor though? Like those little weird
Quote, I
alien-
want Google Glasses back.
Well, the thing that's, I mean, he kind of alludes to a point that maybe that he's not trying to make, but I'm gonna just extrapolate. Sorry, but Google Glass never really got a shot. Like it was only always just a development product. Like it was never, even though you could order them and you could be, what do they call them, explorers? Like you could be an explorer with Google Glass.
Yeah,
it was never
it was
like
a trial program. kind
yeah,
of
it was
thing.
a trial program from the beginning, and when they realized that the trial was like crashing and burning, they never made it a consumer product, like a legit something that you could just go out and buy
Yeah, I
and be part of your life.
One of my professors like was part of that little program, and I tried it out for a day, and you just like imagine trying to talk to somebody where they're just like looking like
Yeah,
at the top left corner the whole time, and they're not talking to you, or they are talking to you, but they're not looking at you, and it's just like it hurts your eyes. It hurts to like talk to other people. I don't know if they're gonna bring it back. That it'd have to be a completely different form factor because the way it is now with like
yeah.
headband with a little like shard of glass on the top corner, like just did not look cool at all.
Yeah, but I think that a lot has changed since then. I mean, when did Google Glass come out? That was 2
It
years
was a long
ago?
time ago.
3 years ago? A lot has changed since then. I mean, it's only been 2 or 3 years, but in that time, like VR headsets didn't exist until about a year ago as a publicly accessible product. And people still look dorky when they're wearing VR headsets, but they look less dorky now.
I just want VR headsets to look cool, like ski goggles looked cool in like the 90s when people would wear them like up top here without like when
Ever
they're not
putting them
skiing.
on?
Yeah. Like Method Man did that all the time and Redman, and
my
they look
gosh.
so cool.
That's subjective.
I just want the VR like just in that fashion.
I think we're getting a bit of a hive mindset going on in here, as Simon Cross seems to agree with you. He says I need to be able to connect a set of speakers to both my Chromecast and Chromecast audio. Then I can go whole home on audio at
Yeah.
home. Imagine Sagi. Oh, geez, I lost it. Google seems to stay with only one form factor. Unfortunately, I agree with Alfred that they need a cheaper Google Home. I
just
think
like
we're largely on the same page
I
here.
just
This is
like
good.
cheap things.
Um,
That's why I bought the Kindle Fire tablet, to the $50 one, just because it's cheap. Just give me cheap stuff that works well. That's my like bottom line. Like if it's cheap and it works fine, like I'm buying it. Like,
he brings up a good pain point about Echo, where Echo really fails, is that you can't connect your dots or your echoes to each other throughout your house.
you
know?
can't?
Not really. Like if you want to be playing, and I could be wrong, but as I understand it, you can't be playing. Like if you're in your bedroom and you're playing your music on that Echo,
Mhm.
and you go down your stairs to your kitchen, you want to just keep playing that seamlessly.
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
do that with Amazon's product.
Yeah, that's
lines,
frustrating.
which is really frustrating, I think, for a lot of people.
That
But
would
is
be
it-
awesome, though.
Is it the same with
What?
Bluetooth?
To just
speak-
have it follow you like
Yeah,
that.
and
What
it's
a
like,
wish
why
list.
can't you just do that? That's one of those things that I think normal consumers, maybe there's a technological reason why it's really difficult, or maybe there's a reason why they don't want to do it economically. It's better. I don't know.
If only
But
you could like wear the music as it plays back on your head, and you could just. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if Google came out with something like that, like a phone for your head, phone heads.
Phone heads.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I would be down for that. I would spend easily like $200-$300 for those.
It'd be like cone heads.
We have to wrap it up soon because they're getting ready to kick off the I/O coverage in our SF office. But I wanted to bring up, I think Josh has an interesting point here in the chat. Google can take the market that Snapchat tried to start with the spectacles. I'm assuming he's assuming that
yeah.
along the lines of the Google Glass.
Well, with spectacles, those are specifically only glasses. Is the thing with
they're only capture.
yeah, with Google Glass, they had all
It's
these
that
like.
and then some.
It's like you can see maps on it. You can watch. You can get text messages on it. You can do all these things. Whereas with spectacles, it was like just capturing. So that's the thing. Like you didn't have to like look outward at any direction. Like you looked in the direction you want to record. With Google Glass, like you have to look at like what you're trying to see on the
was
those
awkward,
little screen. So like
sure.
that's kind of like the awkward point of it.
But a
But
lot has changed since then.
Yes.
So
I think people are more
maybe-
accepting of smart glasses now, and like
Yeah.
if they can make them look cool, like this, like Snapchat did with spectacles.
Yeah.
Also subjective, but yeah, I think they'd have a hit if it like actually looked decent.
A couple quick wish list notes for the upcoming I/O from Michael Brown in the chat. Revamp Android TV and new Android Wear features. It's interesting how much I'm seeing about the Android wearables in the chat right now. Not a whole lot of specifics, but a lot of chatter about where they could go with that, and that would be an interesting angle for them to take. Michael also says Google should expand on its plan on messaging.
more messaging.
Yeah, let's have 200 apps to chat with people.
So we got in this office we have Hangouts, and then we're using Slack, and then we're also getting text messages, and then
Well, no, there's like Google's, like just Google. There's like Allo, Duo, Hangouts.
it sounds like you're
Gmail
trying to
chat, or
activate
is that
the
a
Winter
second
Soldier
link?
here. Allo, Duo, Hangout.
Oh God.
There's so many.
Yeah, that's my point. Though they have so many of these
Station
apps.
car.
But with wearables, though, I do think that it's really cool that they're trying to bring like more elements of Google Assistant to like their smartwatches, because that seems like the perfect place to have it.
It is the perfect place to have it for sure.
Yeah. All right. We got to cut it off because they're going to start kicking things off over in San Francisco. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us early today, speculating about the upcoming I/O. Stick around here. They'll be starting up the new stream in just a few minutes, and then they'll be kicking it right over to the Google coverage, streaming it right from CNET, YouTube, live stream, so on, so forth. And thank you all so much. Want to send us out, Alfred?
I definitely do. Anyway, thanks for checking us out again. If you liked us, the 359 podcast is available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, FeedBurner, Google Play Music, and of course, CNET.com.
All right. Take care, everybody. Hang out, and they'll be back with Google I/O shortly.